of the greatest relationships that we have is the one we have with ourselves.
Exactly.
And we know when we hit moments of great challenge, they're really shifting moments. And that dream sounds like one of those moments where it's either you live or die.
Right.
Get up, either get up and keep fighting, or kind of give in and fall away.
Yeah.
And that count was, almost pushing you into this destiny place that you're in now. On the inside, you have this dream, and then on the inside, it pushes you up and out to go and do this next thing, to tackle it, to attack it. Did you find that people treated you differently in the beginning? That some relationships fell away because people couldn't handle it? It wasn't you couldn't handle it at a certain point, but people couldn't handle it?
Right. It's almost like, on one side of the magnet, it attracts, and on the other side of the magnet, it repels. I had the magnet that repelled. I had Alzheimer's. That people that I had kept up with for decades, no phone calls.
Yep.
No text, no nothing.
Why do you think that is? I'm not saying you have the magic answer for that, but I've seen this in my own life, in my own relationship with my mother. But what do you think that is that causes that?
Because they may not have had a relationship with someone that had Alzheimer's. So there's no way for them to realize what it's like. So that like I said in the beginning, I can still hear, I can still speak most of the time. Sometimes I'm not able. Yeah. And that's, that, like Maureen says, she goes, that's when she rejoices, when I can't speak. Because I have a habit of never shutting up. But, my
talking.
Yeah, exactly. My words get stumbled. And
I understand.
It's just, and so in person, they can't talk to me because they feel like, Brian can't talk. So,
he's not.
But then they'll call me on the phone and I'm talking to them perfectly normal. And they'll say things like, why couldn't you talk to me like this when I saw you? And I said, when did you see me?
Yeah.
Yeah. And they said, well, it was about a month ago. And I said, well, to be honest with you, I don't know.
Yeah.
I said, if it wasn't just now, or if it wasn't sometimes yesterday, I can still recall yesterday a little bit.
Yeah.
But if it was any further than that, any further back, I said, no, I have no recollection of it. But it doesn't mean that when I'm in that moment, I can carry on a conversation with you. You just got to give me a chance to catch on to what you're saying. And that's another thing. If you have somebody that talks really, really fast, you have to slow them down.
Now, yes.
Say, look, I love this conversation, but I know you are like you are, but could you just slow down your speech a little bit? And they say, oh man, I'm sorry. And so they do.
Do you think people are afraid? I'm sorry. Say that last part.
I said, and right then and there, they learned a lesson.
Yeah.
And it wasn't derogatory. It was something to help them communicate with me.
Right. Do you think, I've shared the experience of, how people just sort of vanish in your life. And, you don't put heavy expectations on people, but you wonder, if Alzheimer's or even other conditions are, they make people feel uncomfortable. They make people feel uncomfortable just simply, I don't know what all the reasons are. Maybe it's just too tough for them to face. It's a fear of the disease. If you had to look at one or two things that you think changes how people see someone with Alzheimer's, what would it be? What would those two things be?
Wow, that's a huge question.
Mm-hmm.
Because there again, it goes back that if you see one person with Alzheimer's, you've seen one person with Alzheimer's.
No more than that.
Right.
So what about you? Let's take it for you. If, since that is true, what you're saying.
Yeah.
So what would it be for you?
Well, like I said before, they might catch me on a day where I can't speak.
Yeah.
And that's literally can't speak. I also, Maureen always tells me that I'm the person that reaches for, the highest high.
Yeah.
So suppose, you have Alzheimer's, you have vascular dementia, and you have aphasia. And the aphasia basically just takes your voice away.
Yeah.
In my case, aphasia hits different parts of the body, and
Yeah.
in my case, it's my voice.
Yes.
So when I now have this um, a type to talk app on my phone. So
Okay.
I just call the app up, I type in what I want to say, and I hit the button, and you can make yourself sound like an Englishman. You can you can make yourself sound like a woman.
Yeah.
I have fun with it because it
Yeah.
scares me that I'll never get my voice back.
Yeah.
So far it's happened like about 4 times, and each time I go into a panic mode.
Yeah.
And sometimes that happens a little bit when, like I said, when I'm in person with them, they begin to see what effects I'm going through that is caused by Alzheimer's. They don't think that, I'm just going crazy.
Right.
They know that I have Alzheimer's. They see it. They've seen it more than one time. And so that's when they ease in to understand my world.
Yes. I think that's wonderful.
Oh, it's wonderful on so many levels, because now they're going to talk to you like a normal human being.
Right.
And when I tell Maureen that, I said, I just want to be treated as a human being. She goes, Brian, you are a human being.
Yeah. You want to feel that connection though from other people.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's you are, and you have, your amazing relationships with people that continue to affirm that reality. Yeah. And then there are people that you would like them to just, connect with that fact. And some people come in and they leave, and that's okay.
Yeah.
You don't expect everyone to stay in your close circle. But talk a little bit also, can you share a little bit? We talked earlier or a while ago about the stigma around Alzheimer's, and but talk a little bit about the stigma itself. Whatever you think is important to share about it.
Yeah. Well, as I said before, people coming up to you and not talking to you, they'll talk to whoever you're with and ask them a question about you, and you're just, standing there. So that, they automatically think that I can't talk. But the one example that I love to talk about is this is back when I was still in Pensacola. Mm-hmm. And I love almonds and basically a lot of different types of nuts. Mm-hmm. And there's a store that sells nothing but nuts and, really good stuff. And so I went there one day, and I was looking for these little small sesame sticks, and they taste so good. And they were really bad for me, because I also have my type 2 diabetes, and, my sugars will go high up. Yeah. But I knew what I wanted. So I went to the store and I started walking up and down the aisles, and I couldn't find what I was looking for. And so I came across somebody that worked there. I said, excuse me. I said, can you tell me where I couldn't even get the word out. And I said, sesame sticks. Yeah, that's it. Can you point them out to me? Right. And so he walked me over to the bin where they were, and so forth and so forth. And I stopped her. I said, listen, I just wanted to let you know that the reason I was stumbling over my words is because I have Alzheimer's. And she goes, oh, honey, that's okay. She goes, I get Alzheimer's when I drink. And so we both laughed and, all that. So yes. I went ahead and got some other stuff, and I got up to the cash register, and she was there.
Yeah.
And I said, ma'am, I really have to tell you something. And she goes, okay. I said, you remember when I told you that I have Alzheimer's disease? And she says, yeah. And I said, look, I have a sense of humor. And I thought what you said was funny, because that sounded like something I would say.
Yes.
And I said, but if you say that to the wrong person that does not have a sense of humor, or does not understand that you're making a joke or anything like that, they're going to get highly offended, or their family member will get highly offended. Excuse me. And, and so I said, so just be careful, please. And so she started asking me questions.
Right.
And I was answering them and didn't really pay attention to what else was going on. But out of the corner of my eye, I detected movement. And so I turned around, and there was like 15 to 20 people in in the nut store, and they made a semicircle around me, and they said, "Oh no, please continue." And so, number one, I was advocating in a store, in a public store, and also I just termed that as that was my first time that I ever gave an Alzheimer's presentation, and of all places, a nut store.
A nut store. Yeah, that's
So
good.
now you see something like that happened maybe, I don't know, 5 years ago.
Yes.
It's still here.
Yes.
It's still here.
Yeah.
I can't make any see, I can't even think of the word now. So anyway, so yeah,
You
there
can't,
you go.
are you looking to say you can't always know what things you're going to remember and what things
Yes.
you don't?
Yes.
See, that's why we were always good. I could sometimes finish your sentences.
Well, it's good, but it's also a little scary.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, for sure. Absolutely, for sure.
it goes to how well we know each other.
Yeah. That's what I mean. But and so
you had mentioned something else though. I don't know. That was one of my I don't know what you
when
asked.
I asked about the myths and the stigmas.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And you were sharing about the lady making the remark about,
Right.
oh, I have Alzheimer's
Right.
and I drink.
Right.
And
right.
so were you also making a connection with how people see the disease?
Yes. And that's the reason why I talked to her.
Yeah, because she would not have known that. I mean, did she receive that okay?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, she got a little embarrassed, at first.
Yeah.
But I said, look, it's okay. There's really no right or wrong when you come across somebody with any type of disease. If somebody in your family has not had it, you haven't seen it. But if you have somebody that you've seen, and then you see somebody else that has Alzheimer's, you're going to look at that person and say, well, my grandmother doesn't do that. Why doesn't my grandmother do that? And it gets them thinking. So,
yeah. Are there, I guess for me, like in my own experience, I mean, perhaps, younger onset, because it is different than, say, my mother's condition with Alzheimer's or having progressed to Alzheimer's from cognitive impairment. Do you think that how people may see you with younger onset differs than, and not necessarily sees you, but how they interact with you is different than how people will interact with, say, a 91-year-old who has it?
Right. If there's a 91-year-old that has what they term as early onset Alzheimer's, then she could probably carry on a conversation with no problem.
But what about when they are deep in Alzheimer's?
Right. Now you're going from early onset to Alzheimer's.
So what looks different about that communication versus what you see at with having younger onset Alzheimer's?
You'll see more. Oh boy. You'll see more confusion.
Yeah.
You'll see more of the inability sometimes to answer a question because they may not have understood it.
Yes.
You're going to see, like with my mother, she lost the ability to speak, so she had aphasia, but that was in the later stages of her Alzheimer's. But what she didn't lose, she sang in church for 40 years.
I don't know if I knew that about you.
Down at St. Agnes. And she loved it. She sang in the choir. She was a cantor, and but so as she lost the ability to speak, she would la la la.
That is so interesting.
And she only did that with me because of our musical background. And so she would look at me with this intense stare, and she would la 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 a song. And she always started off with the same one. It was a song from Sound of Music, which was her favorite movie and the very first movie that I saw as a 6-year-old.
Right.
And if I named the song, this beautiful smile would come out, come on her face. Right. Now, I knew that I couldn't do the same for her because she would not be able to tell me what I was, la la la-ing.
Yes.
And so she would go right to another song, and it was always going to be a musical from somewhere. So that still lived very clearly in her brain. Because she, like me, we both had this love for music. We would sit up in the front room.
I've heard you singing.
Huh?
I've heard you singing.
Oh, you did?
Of course.
Oh.
You remember with Danny?
Oh, how could you forget that?
Yeah. I mean, you guys, but well, obviously with the pandemic, things have shifted for a long time, but you were singing it was a small group of you. It was Danny and yourself and several other people, I think. Yeah. And so do you find that that's still a part of, even if not now in the same way, do you find that that's still something that you enjoy doing?
I listen to music a lot.
Yeah.
Because music, for lack of a better description, music, it comforts me.
Yeah.
It brings back memories.
Yeah.
Because, and now that goes for anybody. I mean, you can be walking down the street and all of a sudden a song from the 60s or the 70s is going to pop up into your mind.
Yeah.
And when it does, you remember where you were when you first heard that song, or it could be another time where you heard that song and something else was going on. So you relive those moments through the music that you're listening to.
Yeah.
So it's very cool.
Yeah.
Cool. So that's why I have my speaker here, so I can play anything Bluetooth.
Yeah.
I have a sound bar on my TV. And so if Maureen's gone, because I don't like to distract her when she's working, but if he's gone, man, the volume goes up and I'm just
rocking
there, just grooving to the music,
Yeah.
But music has turned out to be a very, very important tool for people that are living with a dementia-related illness, even with Parkinson's and of course Alzheimer's and Lewy bodies and so forth. Music reaches a part of the brain that's just reserved for that type of thing. So it's if you say if music is still important to me, I would change that to music is imperative.
Wow. That's so powerful.
I mean, think about it. Even if you're thinking of something, you're reminiscing about something that's sad.
Yeah.
You can either put it on something that is has a fast beat and so forth, or you could put it on something mellow and listen to that, and you might start to cry.
Yeah, it changes the whole atmosphere.
You have to allow yourself to cry.
Yeah.
Because if you keep it in, well, that ain't too good.
No, and I think that's a really good point too. I think that it's okay. We talked about this, but it's okay to feel sad. It's okay to express sadness or frustration. I think it's when we don't allow ourselves to release the honest truth about what we're feeling, that we hold things inside, and it creates even more sickness, more frustration, more. I think the release of it is extremely important. I want to say this, and then you can certainly comment as we close on this. I do think that another conversation would obviously be great for us to have, for you to even talk about some of your own experiences. Like, I'm not sure if, especially during the pandemic, but before that, were you involved in talking to other people with Alzheimer's and their family members? But just maybe engaging more in the practical sides of not only necessarily the caregiving side, but the experiential side for you, and how that's really evolved to your being this public figure and this person that is now advocating and sharing and teaching. I think that aspect is really important for people to know, because one of the myths, and people assume that when you have Alzheimer's or younger set Alzheimer's, that every situation looks the same, and that somehow you're no longer capacitated to be able to do the things that you're doing. And so I would like us to be able to talk about that, because your humanity and your, wait, I want to change this screen. Your humanity.
Just got distracted.
Huh?
Nothing. I was just telling the audience that you got distracted.
Oh, yeah. I was trying to change that. I was trying to change the screen. But yeah, you're so funny. So your humanity and a person's humanity with Alzheimer's we should not change how we see someone in their humanity because of Alzheimer's or autism or any situation that someone is in. And I think that there's a lesson about how we see people if they have a disease or if they have something, and therefore the person changes how they treat you. But the reality is that we're losing our sense of treating each other as human beings. Like you said, I just want people to see me as a human being, as a, you know, and quite frankly, a normal person. You're a normal person, even if there are certain things that you're not able to do like you used to do them, or certain things that you don't remember. And I think that there's a lesson for that. So if you had a parting thing that you would want to share about your experience having Alzheimer's and the journey that you've had so far to anyone out there listening, whether they know someone or caring for someone or don't know anything and just really are listening because they wanted this insight of what it's like for someone to live with this disease, this younger onset Alzheimer's, what would you impart or say to them?
You could look at it this way. If you fall and break your arm, you get a cast, and you got to wear this cast for however long. So everybody that sees you, they'll look at it and say, "Oh, what happened? You know, what's with the cast?" And so they would tell them that story. Right. If you fall and break your leg, same thing. You're gonna be walking on crutches and, you know, all this kind of stuff. We don't have an outward sign or something that they can look at me and say, "Oh, he's got Alzheimer's," because you can't see it. Right. It's the invisible disease, which is also the most misunderstood disease. Yeah. So looking at someone doesn't tell you anything.
It doesn't tell you one solitary thing.
Until they start to get to know a little bit more about you. Then as they get to know a little bit more about you, guess what disappears? The stigma. Because now they know. Now they know what types of questions they can ask you. You know, now they know what types of conversations they can have with you. But that's important. But I will say this, and this is going off. Did I answer your question?
You did.
I have one more thing.
I take that. The takeaway I take from that is get to know the person. Yeah. Get to know the person, and the stigma tends to go away.
Yeah. I wish it would go away without that, but you know. Right. But there is one more thing to say. Sure. Part of my abilities, part of my speaking success, and so forth. I would not be able to do that if not for the person that's sitting down the hall in her office working. You know, I kind of struck the pot of gold there.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that one day too.
Yeah, I mean, she runs her own business, and guess what that business is? It's care and cure. No, that's not it. Oh boy.
We're going to talk to her. We're going to talk to her.
Tell her what the name of her business is.
Yeah.
But you know, she helps elders. She helps elders with their, you know, if they're going to be going into a care community and so forth. She makes sure that all the documents are straight and so forth. She becomes their patient advocate. Yeah. She is a professional advocate, you know, for them.
Yeah.
But she's also that for me.
Of course.
And sorry for this, but it really sucks for her because she has a front row seat of watching me each and every day. The sad part about it is if I'm having a really bad day, a really forgetful day, I'm already angry because I can't remember what I wanted to do and this, that, and the other. Well, guess who takes the brunt of that? And that's Maureen. And yes, she'll get mad at me and she'll yell back at me because that's what I expect her to do.
Right.
But the things that she does for me, day in, day out, is I'm going to let her tell you about how we met, which it's not real. It's all in her head. So just keep that in mind. But she, I wouldn't know what to do without her because of what she does. I take handfuls of medicine every day, morning and evening. She keeps track and puts them all in my little 7-day pill box and so forth. she just does so much. Makes me, yeah, and I will say makes me eat, um, nutritionally wise. Every now and then, we'll get a pizza or something like that. But for the most part, we're eating healthy, and I'm eating foods that I don't really like,
Like,
but
you were going
getting
to say
to
that.
like them.
Yes.
And so, you know, the care partners, we have the invisible disease. The care partners are the unsung heroes.
Yeah, I think that's and I'm not saying it because I am a care partner,
Right.
but I feel as strongly about it. Even if, I think certainly has given me a whole new perspective on life, um, as a care partner for 11 years,
Yeah.
to my mother. But you make such a great point. I think that we are blessed to be able to engage in this conversation with you, because I think that us talking alone begins to break down the stigma.
Yeah.
And the very thing that our conversation was anchored on is the stigma, but the conversation in and of itself is actually healing the stigma. And so I value and I treasure you so much. I am always praying for your continued success and all of those things. And I really am looking forward to us being able to continue our conversation. And then obviously I'm going to have an opportunity to talk to Maureen. And then we'll have an opportunity to continue this, but to also have a conversation with both you and Maureen down the road. But do you mind sharing your resource that you would like people to go to or check out? I know about We Are Dementia Strong.
Right.
But can you share whatever, where would you like to see people again? Where would you like them to go?
Right. Well, I'm all over Facebook. Somehow I reached over 5,000 friends.
Yeah.
And,
friends.
but that helps keep in touch.
Yes, sure.
Also, the our every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. Maureen and I do a Facebook Live, and you can view it on our page. We are #Dementia Strong.
Okay, we are #Dementia Strong.
Yeah, we are #Dementia Strong.
Okay.
And we'll talk for about 30 minutes, sometimes 45, depending upon the topic and depending upon the person that we're interviewing. Because
right.
we have guests that we can interview and get their pieces of information and their take on dementia and so forth. So we do that. Maureen has her own website.
Yes, and absolutely. And we're anxious to talk to Maureen, because she is going to be able to go into even more detail explaining the difference between being a patient advocate and how important that is.
She'll be able to tell you. She's a wealth of knowledge, and I'm not just saying that. She
really is. She's a wealth of knowledge, but she's also a wealth of, I'm going to say, humanity and connection, because of not only just the relationship that you guys have, but it takes substance for someone to choose to do the work that she's doing. Apart from, knowing you, she was doing that work already.
Right.
And so that is something in her soul that has called her to that work. And she has, I'm sure, her own story about that.
I told her one day when we were, I think it was, we were having an argument of some kind, and I told her, I said, hey, look, I said, you may think that I forgot a lot of things, but who got into a relationship with a guy that has Alzheimer's?
That's funny.
And of course, that we both started laughing at
that.
Right.
Right. Well, everyone, I just please join me in saying thank you to Brian LeBlanc, my great friend, but also an incredible international, regional. He is just a beacon of light across the world, really, and internationally. And so I look forward to us continuing our conversation, Brian. And everybody, please go check out We Are Dementia Strong. We'll be also talking to Ms. Rulison, who will be able to share about her resource and what she's doing in the community. And I encourage people to actually go to YouTube and look at the In the Fog video with Brian LeBlanc. It is quite insightful, and in another way, in like a visual way and a story way, being able to hear and experience Brian's story living with Alzheimer's. It's an incredible experience. And I think it is transformative to listen to it. So thank you so much, Brian. And
thank you for having me.
Thank you, everyone. And have a wonderful day, everyone. And until we come again on the other side.